Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here. When you constantly act against your own interests and execute the orders of someone to your own detriment, you should not be surprised when the walls around you start to crumble and the entire house of cards starts to collapse. And don't be too surprised either when that someone whose orders you willingly executed for a long time doesn't really come to your rescue. That was never part of the plan to begin with. Germany's Olaf Scholz is learning this as we speak. Germany, once named the sick man of Europe, might very well be on its deathbed. Since the dramatic economic collapse of 2020, we all remember what happened then, Germany's economy actually failed to fully recover, and now its economic forecasts grow grimmer by the day. It is safe to say there's no hope for it in sight without the country reversing back to its trade policies that it used to have, and also getting back to at least somewhat of a sensible foreign policy that actually served its people so well for decades. In the beginning of September, for the first time in history, the world-famous German automaker Volkswagen announced that it is considering closing 2 plants in Germany. Volkswagen is not just an automaker, it has been Germany's largest industrial employer. The company employs 300,000 workers, and hundreds of thousands more individuals help supply the company. Volkswagen cited years of declining sales and major difficulties transitioning to EVs as the main reasons behind its planned shutdown. Over the past 5 years, the company lost nearly a third of its value, and now it is the worst-performing European car maker. At this time, as the automaker is planning to close German plants and end job guarantees, worker unions are trying to block these closures. To be fair, car sales have been declining in the EU as a whole. At this time, for example, car sales are well below pre-2019 levels. Oliver Bloom, the company's CEO, reportedly pointed to one of the 2 main reasons that caused such dramatic collapse of a once biggest company in Germany. To Reuters, he actually said the quiet part out loud. He said, "There are no more checks coming from China," he said, so they're not getting money from China, referring to falling profits in Volkswagen's biggest market. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're hearing at least part of the truth. By the way, you might find it really interesting that while the German automaker is struggling, EV exports from China to Belgium, to the UK, Germany, and Spain have been increasing. So people are more willing to buy Chinese EVs than they are an EV from Volkswagen. Decoupling from China, Germany's biggest trade partner for well over a decade, as well as losing cost-efficient energy resources from Russia, really were not smart policy moves. On the other hand, China's and Russia's economies are doing just fine. Sure, they have their own issues, but the International Monetary Fund, for example, projects that they will grow faster than any EU economy.
When you speak to Putin, does he acknowledge the sanctions? Does he acknowledge how much his economy has been hurt? Or does he just not care?
I think he cares, but he will not really admit it. So you get some idea. You get some idea that it really is hurting him and that he understands the deep impacts of our sanctions on his economy. And I'm always mentioning it because it's necessary to say it. This is now happening to a country that is not that advanced, that is really needing all the technologies from the rest of the world for having a similar standard of living and for having the chance to be part of a growth in the world economy. And this is now the real damage to the Russian economy, that they have no chance to do this.
The Telegraph recently reported that even though the EU has announced additional tariffs ranging from 17.4% to 37.6% on Chinese imports, which already carry a 10% import levy, such is the cost advantage that many Chinese manufacturers may still be able to sell cars profitably in Europe. Clearly, higher imports and other protectionist measures are not the answer here. They're not going to resolve the issue. Volkswagen is just a symptom of a much broader, deeper economic downturn that will impact the EU, because this isn't just Germany's problem. Germany is the biggest economy in the EU, as you know, and whatever it is experiencing is likely to expand. According to the latest European forecast, German economy is expected to shrink again in 2024 after it has already fallen the previous year. Subsequent possibilities of recovery are weak. Positive signals in the middle of the year have not been confirmed, which is why the Kiel Institute is revising its expectations for this year and its coming year significantly downwards. GDP is likely to fall by 0.1% in 2024. Compare that to their forecast of a positive 0.2% increase. For 2025 growth expectations, those are down from 1.1% to 0.5%. That is a dramatic revision down. The unemployment rate, this is very important, the unemployment rate is likely to rise up to 6.1%. The Kiel Institute further explained that the German economy is increasingly facing a crisis that is not only cyclical, as you would expect for any business cycle, but a structural in nature. The Kiel Institute further drives the nail in the coffin of the German economy, saying the German economy is not getting off the ground. The signs of a beginning recovery that were observable a few months ago have not materialized. Leading indicators now are signaling that economic output will continue to stagnate for the time being. Given the current low level of overall economic production, however, the recovery will remain weak. Overall, we have revised our forecast downwards. As Volkswagen plans to shut down its German plants for the first time in 87 years, European and US car makers are also under pressure from regulators who push EVs despite the fact that fewer consumers whose purchasing power has decreased are willing to pay more for an EV rather than purchase a gas engine. Germany is the biggest economy in the EU, and whatever it is experiencing will translate into weaker performance across the Union. For German Chancellor Scholz, the circumstances are less than positive since, in addition to economic troubles, the latest elections show that the German population does not support his policies whatsoever. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video was interesting. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. It goes a long way. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.